Gorin Scares, everybody! And this is my report on Silicon Valley Comic Con. Man, what a day I had yesterday. Yeah, I'm reporting today because last night I was just having Comic-Con afterburn, so, I was not in any condition to actually do anything on it. I was originally going to do a bunch of videos reporting, from Comic-Con, but that didn't happen because it took me forever just to get into the convention. And when I actually got there, I had like 3.5 hours to go and look over the place. Seriously, amazingly enough, I left my house at 10 o'clock, had trouble on the trains. 2 trains were actually canceled, so I didn't actually get out of San Mateo until 12. Then I had to wait for the VTA light travel train to take me to Comic-Con. I got there at 1:30, and amazingly enough, oh my God, I didn't get into the convention until 3 o'clock because the convention had decided to put convention registration in a tent that was way over in the back behind the building. So to get registered, I had to walk 4 blocks around this building, the equivalent of 4 blocks, and I can honestly tell you. And the thing was, because of my recent situation being in the hospital, my sister insisted that I take a sit walker, one of those walkers that has a seat. Thankfully I did, because oh my God, I had to stop and rest 4 times going around that building, because when I left San Mateo it was raining. When I got to San Jose Convention Center, it was sunshiny, but it was hot as shit. And you can imagine I was wearing my black trench coat and stuff, and man. So anyways, had to walk 4 blocks around, get to this huge tent. It looks like a fucking circus tent for where the registration is. And the registration counters were 2/3 of the way into this tent. So basically I had to walk 2 more blocks equivalent to get to the registration thing and stand in line and wait for that. So then, after that, of course, I had to walk all the way back. So the equivalent of 6 blocks each way. So all in all, 12 blocks I had to walk before even getting into Comic-Con. You imagine when I got there, I was tired. But that wasn't the end of the fun. No, when I got there, I had to stand in a big-ass line and wait so that they could rummage through my backpack that I brought with me and scan my wristband. So that took another 20 minutes. So really, when I got in, it was 3:30 in the afternoon. Sounds like a joyous thing, doesn't it? And I got in. I asked, if there was any elevators, because I had this heavy walker thing, and I actually had my backpack sitting on the seat of that thing while I was moving. They said, "Oh well, there's one over there, but I don't know if it's working." So, anyways, I ended up having to go up the escalator with this thing and my backpack. And, ooh, boy, that Comic-Con was full. I mean, it was just basically push your way through. There was just so many people. And, I started looking around for my friends. I was going to see John Stanley, see the Creepy Coffee people, see Vince Vandal, and see my friend Al Omega, which this is the first convention I've managed to come to where he's actually was at. So this is the first time we've actually met face to face. Anyways, so walking around, looking at the collectibles and stuff while I'm looking for anyone. Finally run into John Stanley and the Creepy Coffee people. I was supposed to meet my friend Wibbly Rattencraft at the Creepy Coffee thing, but he didn't show up. I'd promised him a book, so I left it with the Creepy Coffee people. Talked to John Stanley, bought some stuff from him. Then went around, started looking around some more, trying to see if I can find Al Omega or the Creature Features ones. One thing I can say I really liked about Comic-Con, Silicon Valley Comic-Con, was the fact that they really had a wonderful organization for this convention. They had an entire hall set for comic book artists and writers. All, they had a separate hall. Authors and that, oh my God, they had them in the middle of the convention area. Right smack in the middle in a big old square. Right in the middle. That blew me away. I mean, that is class. After all the bullshit that you hear from horror conventions saying, "Oh no, authors are nothing. Authors are crap. They belong in the back of the vendors hall." No, Silicon Valley Comic-Con treats writers with respect. So I was very happy to see that. I got to talk to a bunch of authors while I was there, and I got their cards. And I'll be, catching up with them on Facebook and stuff. So that was cool. Since I actually had copies of my book around, I showed them my book, Symphony of Death Part 1. So they were very impressed with how it turned out. Um, Anyways, finally, I did find the celebrity area and, the stars area. And I got to meet the lady that played Marilyn in the Munsters. That was a thrill. Got to talk to her. Got to see an old friend, Nichelle Nichols. I've seen her dozens of times, and that was a thrill. She was selling her jewelry and doing autographs. That was a fun deal. Saw Eddie Mathers, played Leave It to Beaver and that, and finally ran into the Creature Features bunch, the North Bay Creature Features bunch, Vince Van Dahl and that. They weren't at their table initially, so I had to come back a half hour later to give Vince his book and give Tangela a little Furby that I found that I had it's real cute. It was a McDonald's Happy Meal Furby, and it looked like it was screaming, and you shake it and it goes. "Ah!" That was fun. She really liked it. Anyways, and got to meet Evan, who does their North Bay TV's geek show for memorabilia and stuff. He was cool. He was dressed up as one of the ones from the Invincibles. And anyways, eventually I ran into Al Omega, and I managed to finish off my horror host collection of pictures. So I got a photo with Al Omega. Here, I'll show you. And I bought a shitload of swag, and he gave me a bunch of freebies as well. And had a good time. The time went fast, of course, and it was some complaints that I do have about Comic-Con, and I'm going to mention them right now, is the food sucks. There's too much of a line to get any kind of food and refreshments, and $4 for a can of Coke is a little bit much, I think. So I brought a thermos with some water in it, so I didn't actually go and buy anything, except actually I did buy a hot dog outside of the convention, because there was like 24 Mexican hot dog people, and I got a Mexican hot dog, which was it's a hot dog with grilled onions, peppers, and mustard, mayonnaise, and ketchup on it. That was amusing. And of course, spent $2 on another bottle of water. That was after I left. But anyways, another thing that I can complain about is the celebrity section. That was very disappointing. I understand that there's going to be huge lines for celebrities, but man, the way that they did it, they set the celebrities way off in the corner, and they put up these little walls between their tables. Almost like for leading cows. For food to food. It was like this big ass thing, and literally, I would honestly say that it was at least a block. These rows were a block long. I mean, you could barely see the celebrity at the end of this thing. They were like this big, and you couldn't really read the posters behind them to see which row was which. You had to really sit there and squint and try to figure out who was who. And, they had them on either side of these two rows there. That was the autographed area. So that was where you went during a certain time of the day to get autographs from the celebrities. Two celebrities would go to those tables and they'd do autographs. When they were outside of that, they'd be there for you to do pictures with them and to talk to them. And you only got about a minute and a half. I wanted to see Stan Lee, I wanted to see Kristen Ritter, and I wanted to see David Tennant. I didn't get to see any of those because of the fact that there was so many lines, and honestly, I would say it would take 2 hours just to get up to one of them with the way these lines were. And it was just sad, because, I saw the guy who played Palpatine in Star Wars, and he had no line. He was just sitting there at the end of this big old long thing, and I could just imagine how bored he was. The same with the guy who played Samwise in Lord of the Rings. And even the guy that played Darth Maul. They were just empty. And they were just sitting there all alone by themselves with these big old walls on either side of them and all this. It's cattle call. That does not give you the experience that you really want. When you want to meet a celebrity. Seriously, I remember when Silicon Valley Comic-Con was big. Wow. Yeah, they had lines and that, but they didn't have it like this. This was organized entrepreneurship. This was okay, get in there, you sheep, and we'll corral you down, and you'll get a minute. You'll spend 2 hours in a line, and we'll give you a minute with this person. I had more fun with the people who weren't in the corrals, with Jerry Mathers and that, because they didn't worry about that. They figured, they're past due, so we're not even worrying about that because they're not going to have a line. Oh my god. So, yeah, I missed out on my chance to see Stan Lee. I mean, seriously, I couldn't even see him if I wanted to because he was this little speck. Oh my god. So yeah, that is a complaint. I know that they probably do the same thing at New York Comic Con and they do it at San Diego Comic Con, but it's just disheartening. And it just shows what the focus is in that area. It's just, oh, let's make some money. Rather than let's make ourselves available to our fans and show them a little love. I mean, you did have a possibility of putting in for a photo op. Once a day, the celebrities would go up and they had this separate section where they had a big old wall with the Silicon Valley Comic-Con logo on it, and you could have the celebrity sitting in a seat in front of you, and you're in the back behind them and get a picture with them. Yeah, that was your big moment. But you know what? I'm not disappointed. I'm not completely disappointed because you know what? I can just imagine that if I had ended up having the time and being able to go there, that it wouldn't have been a good experience. It would have been David Tennant tired and bleary-eyed from 1,000 people coming up to him and being stuck in this narrow space going, ugh, and just seeing this wall of people coming at you. And he would have put on a brave face, but he would have been exhausted. He wouldn't have even, I wouldn't have even made an impression on him. I would have been just one in the blur of this. It would have been the same with the others. So, I'd rather, maintain what I've got, which is David Tennant in his shows, the characters that I love and that, rather than seeing this beaten down, tired celebrity who's exhausted from spending the day at Comic-Con. And who just would basically go, yeah, okay, I remember that. Yeah, no. But the one thing I can say that thrilled the hell out of me, and I enjoyed watching the people. I enjoyed looking at the costumes and stuff, and going to the dealers' rooms and seeing all the new stuff and that. It's a big difference when you go to a convention and you see the stuff right there where you can buy it. Rather than, doing Amazon and seeing a picture. So, I enjoyed, I got my sister one of those porgs from the new Star Wars movie. She wanted one horribly, so I looked around for it, and when I was heading out, I finally found a stuffed porg a plushy porg for her. I also got her a bag. I got her a water cup, and got her a patch from Dawn of the Dead. Beautiful patch, I can tell you. Well, anyways, here I'll show you some of the stuff that I did get from Comic-Con. Alrighty, first thing, I got this from my dear buddy, Mr. Al Omega. I got this wonderful Creature Features tote bag. Take a look at that, with Al Omega's Creature Feature logo on there. And on the other side, it says, "Watch horror films, keep America strong." And also, I got a couple of Creature Features pins right here. One is this is the Keep America Strong Watch Horror Films pin, and then I also got one with Al Omega's horror host skull Bob on there. And then Al, he actually gave me this. It's a Bob candle. Nice. It's a Mexican candle, con aroma. Very nice. And let's see, I also got a patch. Watch horror films, keep America strong. And Creature Features t-shirt. Love that. That was wonderful. And let me see, I had something else here too. Damn, I can't find it. But anyways, he also gave me a Creature Features pen. So, very cool. I got a lot of swag. Also, got a DVD from him, Dream Demon. Favorite movie of mine from the 80s. So, that's fun. Got that. Anyways, another thing that I got at Comic-Con is I got a Comic-Con t-shirt. Silicon Valley Comic-Con t-shirt. Love that. I'm going to wear that. From Vince Van Dahl, Tangela, and Livingston, I got their Creature Features, the Best of Creature Features DVD. And from John Stanley, I got a new DVD that he made. It's called The Night Creature Features Died. It was about the final episode. It's a documentary that he made about the final episodes of Creature Features. So, very interesting there. And then from my friends at Creepy Coffee Movie Time, I got a DVD of the Ackerman mansion. It's a tour of the Ackerman mansion. I love that. I have heard so much about the Ackerman mansion, and I'm interested in definitely checking this out. And finally, for you collectors, you're going to love this that I found. I got this from NECA Toys. The miniature Ultra Edition Chucky doll. Now this thing comes with all kinds of stuff. Take a look at that. Sorry, it's got 3 different heads. It's got a shitload of accessories. It's got different set of hands on it. Just all these weapons and stuff. Very nicely packaged. Looks like a good guy doll with the stuff on the sides and stuff. But on the back, of course, you have all the different looks for Chucky that you can create with this doll. And it says, he wants to be a best friend. Yeah, sure. So anyways, that was my report on Comic-Con. It was actually a fun time for me. It was a lot of, running around and very tired still today. Gonna have to go to work tonight, so gonna have to rest up for that. But anyways, just thought I'd put that out for you, let you know how things went. So anyways, as always, keep America strong, watch horror films, and hope to see you at Silicon Valley Comic-Con next year. Enjoy!